to... Good evening. Yeah, that's how busy I've been. I don't even know what fucking time it is. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to your transfer show. The topics on your screen right now. Ekitike worth the risk? And are there actual talks going on with his camp, with his agents, with the club? Romano has come out in the recent hours and kind of explained that, so we'll delve into that whole situation. Samuel Luckhurst reporting that Onana is set to stay at United. He's got a quote-unquote warm relationship with Amorim, whatever that means. Cherki is now number one enemy after those quotes. Again, don't know if any of you guys have seen those, but we'll get into that. And alternative options coming from an article from Carl Anker at The Athletic that I really want to talk about and see if we can actually push for any of those options or if it's kind of just thoughts from a really good journalist. We'll talk about that. Sam, how you doing? I'm fumbling my words.
Yeah, no, you've had a long day, and my light dies as always when we do these shows. Yeah, all good. Not too bad. Not too bad.
Yeah, all good. How are we all in the chat as well? Let us know. We've got the Club World Cup ongoing at the moment, if anyone gives a shit. I think it's Chelsea versus LAFC or something, but we thought, are you going to rather watch the Club World Cup or are you going to rather watch us? And we thought, well, you know, in a kind of narcissistic way, you're going to watch us, aren't you? Because the Club World Cup shit, at least we're half decent. But, yeah, I suppose that's down to opinion. Now, Ekitike, Sam, apparently Man United have been keeping an eye on Hugo Ekitike for a while now and have held talks with Frankfurt to explore the terms of a potential deal. Personal terms are not expected to be an issue, and Ekitike could be open to a move. That's coming from Sky Sports.
Yeah.
Right? Romano also puts Ekitike as a player appreciated by the club, and also Christopher Vivell, who knows the player well because he's worked in the Bundesliga with Hoffenheim and Leipzig, so he's always monitoring Bundesliga development. But then Romano also came out recently, and what did he say? Something about...
there are no club-to-club talks between United and Eintracht Frankfurt. So that would assume to me that they're talking to him or his agent and they're trying to figure out personal terms, I assume.
Well, Sky Sports wording, I've held talks with Frankfurt to explore the terms of a potential deal. Romano saying we haven't had talks with the clubs. So who are you believing on this one?
I tend to go with Romano because he's got track record. Sky Sports, as we know, are not the ones to break news. They normally just hop on whatever Ornstein has said and then claim it as breaking news. And a lot of the time their language is a lot of bullshit where they go, we believe that this happens, then that might happen, and you just like, right, so you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So I tend to lead towards Romano, although Romano recently has been a bit of a tap-in merchant for stuff, but he does still have contacts.
Yeah, absolutely. He's still number two in it. I think Ornstein,
yeah.
I think the majority of people still consider Ornstein as kind of the number one guy at the moment. But do you not find it bizarre how Sky haven't got like a number one source? Do you know what I mean? Like they kind of just wait for Sky, Cavi and Darmesh to pop on the screen and kind of repeat what everyone else is saying.
Talk utter rubbish where they're like, oh, yeah, we believe that this could they basically lay out every scenario and then claim like their source or they found out about it, and you're like, you've not really repeated anything we don't already know. Like anybody who's into transfers, if you want to find out stuff first, you have to be online on social media, because otherwise you're going to be about 2-3 hours behind, because as soon as Ornstein drops something, everybody else scrambles to pick up what he's just said and put it out. So yeah,
I'm fascinated to know how that works actually, and I will speak about Ekitike in a moment, I promise. But just the whole kind of situation of how does the agent have like a priority or a deal with Ornstein to say when we break the news, we will go to you first with it? Because surely it must be like that. Because as soon as Ornstein puts it, within 30 seconds, you've got Romano who starts talking about it. So there must be a leak, and then the rest of the leaks go through to the other kind of journalists and stuff who have contacts with them. I just think it's interesting.
We know United Stand have contacts with that agency, Rasmus Højlund, and Ten Hag. Who was the other player that was there as well? There was another player, I can't remember.
Anthony was a part of the same agency, wasn't it?
It's Anthony, the other one. And because that's how they got the interview with him, and don't put any negative press out about him. So there is like those things. I know Romano has been alleged to been paid off by Mason Greenwood's agency because he tweets a lot about Mason Greenwood, despite the fact that he's playing for Marseille, and it's just like he's not part of a major transfer. So don't get why that was going on. But yeah, journalists for the most part, will be paid off or will be given information by certain people, I imagine. It seems like Ornstein is above those kind of things, and if he does get told something, he goes and finds out himself.
Make sure it's
from two,
concrete.
3 different sources to make sure it's concrete, rather than be like, "I'll take your word for it." So, yeah, if you believe anything online, then David Ornstein is normally the one that you can take it and go, "Yeah, that's definitely true."
Well, obviously that's down to you guys. Whoever you believe, it is what it is. But that is what's being reported, right? So Ekitike is now the player on the agenda, and we did a late night live. We spoke about him in depth. But the more it starts to become realistic, Sam, the more you kind of discuss the actual reality of him being in the team. Would you trust the scouting at the minute to go forth with that decision? So you've heard like Vivell has obviously seen quite a bit of him because he was in the Bundesliga with Leipzig. Wilcox, let's say, approves it. Amorim approves it. Would you get behind this, like most signings? Do you like what you've seen from him if you have watched clips, etc.?
I don't know. If there's a talent identification and they think he's the next thing, then cool, let's go with it. But I think the price point is the issue, isn't it? That's the big stumbling block. Like 100 million euros is just out of this world for a potential talent. Now I know youth puts a premium on stuff because you have to, you're protecting an asset who could be potentially a great player for the future, and clubs are going to do that. But yeah, the money is just insane. Like he's 100 million euros, and what Florian Wirtz went for 115. Like, make it make sense. Do you know what I mean? Florian Wirtz he's proved himself. He's won the league. He's won stuff, and he's like high potential. And then Ekitike's had a good season, and now he's worth 100 million euros. So yeah, it doesn't make sense to me.
It is crazy what people can charge in it, because I think if you look at 5 strikers we've been linked with, right? So we can go Sesko, Osman, Gyökeres, Ekitike, and Samu. Let's say from Porto, just to prove this point. Yeah. All of them are going to cost between 60 and 80 million, and all of them are different kind of strikers, different phases of the career, different. So that just seems like the kind of price tag that they're assuming with everyone. You know, if you've got 15 to 20 goals in any league, you now can charge 60 to 80 million. That's what it seems like.
Well, they know strikers are a premium in them, and there's not many, is there? There's not many like top strikers, so they know that they can charge whatever they want. Remember when is it Taremi, and we were being talked about being linked with him because he was free, like he was available for free. So his talks that had he been like just on the market available for a price, I don't think we would have been interested. But because he was free, we were like, oh, let's have a look at him. And then the same with Delap. Imagine like if Delap didn't have that release clause, how much are Ipswich charging for him? It's not 30 million, is it?
It's interesting. For 12 goals in the Prem as well, like they probably would have been asking 50, I'd imagine, at least 40, 50.
50, 60, I think.
So that's interesting. That just the market value in general now on certain players. We never seem to get market value for our players that we want, but everyone else seems to get it. It's bizarre. Charlie's saying, to be fair, there is as much risk choosing Gyökeres and Osman. Ekitike is as promising as these two. He's also turning 23, which means he's not a kid anymore. Andy Williams in the chat saying, Anthony deal, if that is legit, I'm so unimpressed. Yeah, I think the figure's been reported 25 million. Is that too low, Sam?
After the season he's had at Betis, and if they want him, you'd think we're gonna have to they're gonna have to up it, wouldn't you? Like,
I think 35 to 40.
If they're gonna take him on a loan again, and we're gonna be like, right, if you take him on a loan, it's an obligation, then you're gonna have to pay 35, 40 million for him if you want to take another loan. That's the only way to do it. If it's 25 million right now, then you're gonna be like, well, hopefully another club would be interested, because it seems very cheap after the season he's had for them.
If I'm a club around Europe of that level, like Real Betis somewhere in Europe, and I know a player like Anthony, seeing what he's done for Betis in a bit of a different league, is going for 30 to 35, I'm spending 30 to 35 on him easily. Yeah. You know. Yeah. And he's only just turned 22, 23, I think. Like, he's still really, really young, Anthony. Yeah. It's not as like, you know, is it heading into his prime? He's got years left, so that's why I find it really weird how we struggle to sell players like it. I feel like we're not doing something that we should be doing. Do you know what I mean?
It's like, look at City. Like, James Trafford went for 20 million, and he never played a game for the senior team. Never. and we sell senior players for less than 20 million. And our academy boys go for, what was it? Zidane Bell, who actually had first team
$1 million.
experience, went for £1 million. Like,
Yeah.
I don't get it. I really don't.
Yeah. I remember Liverpool, and this was a good few years ago, selling a player, Ryan Brewster, I think it was, for £30 million.
Yeah.
So
Did Solanke
Liverpool,
go for that as well? Solanke went to Bournemouth for about
from
30
Liverpool,
million
do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they've sold a player there who was like, had a few minutes in the first team, but I think they sold him to Sheffield for like 30 million.
Yeah.
You got Antony, who's just got double figures goal involvements in the league with Real Betis, played in finals and stuff. And then they're saying no, 20 to 25. What the fuck? I don't fucking get it. I really don't get it. But let's see what other people are saying. We've got Steph in the chat. Big up, Steph. Always appreciate the support as always. We're going to have 14 days of raging about not signing Mbeumo. In my opinion, I wouldn't even worry about Mbeumo. I'm honestly not worried about it at all. I think that was all kind of a bit scaremongering with the Tottenham thing. Do you agree, Sam, or different?
Yeah, it just seems like Brentford want to get United to move and close the deal, and that's what it seems like. So let's link our manager. He's going to Spurs. Let's put that out that he's interested and stuff like that. Because if Spurs were that interested, why have they not made a bid? They haven't not made a bid. And then the reporting that was going on was also false. I can't remember who it was. I wish I knew because I want to call them out. But they said United have made 2 bids. It's like, well, we haven't. We made 1. So they went, oh, United have failed with 2 bids. It's like, no, we made 1 bid. So the reporting on it is already bollocks. So yeah, take everything with a pinch of salt, man. Like it's all shite.
We've got Nathan in the chat saying Ekitike's done nothing, but his potential is unreal. We don't need potential, we need now. Yeah, I think it was Aaron in the WhatsApp who put about, we were saying the same thing about Rasmus Højlund, and obviously paid for him, and then that's not kind of... So I completely agree with that. I think from what I've seen of him, he looks like a talented player. Someone mentioned Isaac comparisons, like quite tall and lanky, but really good with the ball at his feet. He's a decent finisher. And if he did that at United, I'd take him. But it's a different world, man. We're in a different situation. It's a lot more pressure. You don't get as much time in the Prem. I
get the difference because obviously Ekitike scored, 22 goals he scored?
Something like
last season. Yeah. And Rasmus scored 9 for Atalanta. So there's a difference there. Like he scored over double what he has scored. And arguably playing at a better level in the Bundesliga than Serie A. I don't know how you maybe sort of rank the leagues. Is Serie A better than the Bundesliga? I don't know. But there's that, and it's like it's not a fair comparison, but also it's not the price is not correct. Like they shouldn't be overcharging, because I think when we originally went in for Rasmus, it was like 35 million, wasn't it? When we were originally going in for him, and then Atalanta decided last minute to put the price up. And then we ended up paying 70 for him. What we should have done is walk away from it. When it went up from 35, we should have gone, nah, we're not paying 70 for him. And walked away. And then maybe clubs would not be doing this to us and charging us a shit ton, which is what we've done with Jared Branthwaite. And hopefully we do with, that's why Mbeumo's not moving so quickly, because we're just not bowing to demands anymore. It's like, no, we're not paying beyond what we set to pay, which a lot of people will be like, just buy him, just get him. And it's just like, no, we ended up in a shit position because we've overpaid for players. So now we need to set a stall out. And if it means missing out on certain targets, then so be it. In the future, it makes us better.
But one thing I will say about that is we were spending a lot of money and it didn't seem like the players were well researched. I don't mind spending a decent amount of money if they're actually good players and they come in and they hit the ground running. Like
Osman. Osman, like if you drop 60, 70 million, you know what you're getting because he's a quality player and he's been doing it for season after season after season. Ekitike's had a good season. You don't know if it's just a one-off season because you've seen plenty of strikers do that. Everybody remember Michu, who played for Swansea, scored 20-odd goals. Never heard from again. Like
remember Wilfred Boney for Swansea as well, who City signed for like 40 mil and then just did fuck all for him. Like
Roque Santa Cruz at Blackburn went to City, did nothing. Like the world's full of them. It's full of them.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if there is any, and again, this is kind of the conversations amongst the chat today as well, if there is actually any strikers out there who we can kind of pivot to, and we can get into alternative options now, actually. So Karl Anker did a article in The Athletic. I'm not going to go through full because I would implore you to actually read the article because it's very, very good.
I'll read it.
But some of the names that got mentioned in there, I was humming and ahhing at, and I was obviously Mateta, we've already heard, but you've got Samu from Porto, Jonathan David on a free, Gonzalo Ramos, Moise Kean was mentioned. Does any of these tease the appetite at all?
I'm not a big fan of Jonathan David, and I think obviously nobody's gone for him. So is there a reason there that nobody picked him up on a free?
It feels like he's been available for years, doesn't it, with Jonathan David? Yeah. It always seems a name that's kind of floated around.
So I'm not a fan of that. Mateta I do like, but are you going to get a decent deal out of Crystal Palace? Like, they don't need the money because I know there's a fight going on whether they're going to be in Europe or not, but if they're in Europe and stuff like that, they're a team that's on the up. So it's like you're going to have to fight them to get some of their best players, I think. Gonzalo Ramos is an interesting one. If we can get him on loan, I think that's an interesting deal. I really like that deal. I would be up for that. I think that would be a really interesting deal because we saw what he did before he went to PSG, and he's not really had the minutes at PSG, has he? Like, he comes off the bench, doesn't really start a lot of games. But I think, yeah, I like the sound of Gonzalo Ramos. If we could do a loan deal on that, I'd be all right with that.
Why a loan?
Just because I think if you're asking PSG to buy him, it's going to cost an absolute fortune. And if you're going to spend a fortune, then go get Osimhen.
Are they going to want to loan him, though?
Well, he's not going to play for them, is he? Like, they look at their forward line. Like, where's... Do you know what I mean?
He certainly seems like...
He's taking up wages on the bench and not playing. Like, 'cause he's not going to play over Dembele. So, like, just... It helps us. It helps them. It helps the players. So I think that's a deal to be done. I've not heard any proper links. I've not heard anything concrete about it. So maybe that's just my wishful thinking. Moise Kean didn't do it in the Premier League when he was at Everton, did he? Like, just didn't do it. Just seems like the Premier League's just not good enough for him. And I love that Samu Iridium, but I believe Carl told us that he'd probably cost close to 100 million if we went for him.
So, well, that's his release cost, 100 million euros.
Yeah,
basically.
So so then you're like, all right, do you want Samu? Do you want Ekitike? Or do you want to pay 350k a week for Osimhen? Like, that's your choices, isn't it?
Yeah, risks everywhere, like we keep saying. Maltese Devil said, where are all the 6-yard strikers nowadays? The fox-in-the-box players. Was Vardy the last of that type? Does feel like pure number 9s at the minute is kind of...
Systems have killed it. All these different systems and stuff, especially the Pep, like tiki-taka. He never played with, up until Haaland, he never played with a striker, really. Like, he hates... And
even Haaland now, if you look at the Haaland that was at Dortmund in comparison to the Haaland at City,
very different,
it's very, very different. Although he still scores goals because you've got Kevin De Bruyne supplying and stuff, but he was way more of a transitional threat at Dortmund. And obviously, because City dominate the ball quite a lot now, he's told to just stay in the box.
He doesn't touch it. Like, he doesn't touch the ball, like, ever. And then Aguero, as soon as he went, he played without a striker for God knows how long. Yeah. Like, systems just killed. I've killed like that type of striker. Like, until the systems come back around again, I just don't like. Look at Brentford. Like, their best forwards are not strikers in Bumo and Visser. They're not number 9s. Liverpool, their best forwards are not number 9s. Like, Darwin Núñez, their number 9, doesn't play that well at all for them. But Salah, Gakpo, Jota, Diaz, they're the ones that get the goals. Look at Arsenal, they don't really have a striker either. Havertz is not a striker. He's not number 9 by any means. Saka gets a bunch of goals. Gabriel, Martinelli, like, they get the goals and stuff. So it's just systems. They don't really accommodate themselves to number 9s anymore.
I think some of the players that we mentioned in the list as well don't really suit what we need at the minute. If anyone's done kind of the due diligence on what we need, those strikers that can run in behind, that drag the line back so there's more space for Cunha and Bruno to operate in. You don't want to get it too congested, essentially. No. You want players... Someone mentioned Jamie Vardy before. If you had a prime Jamie Vardy, that would be fucking perfect. But like you said, you don't really have those prototypes a lot. Ekitike seems like he can do that, like running in behind. He's rapid. But you need experience with it. Osimhen, that's why Osimhen for me is the gold.
Yeah. Perfect.
He's perfect for it. But yeah,
what I would do for a prime RVP right now.
Van Persie would be lovely, wouldn't it? Any prime United striker back in the day would be fucking great. Maybe not systematically, but just to score goals would be great. Apparently, they'll let some academy players go for cheaper, so not as to jeopardise their preferred moves. Moise Keane, lol, great player for Everton. No thanks. We all saw what Ramos did, Sam. That's from My Damned United.
Yeah, Dan definitely did. Dan saw a lot of what Gonçalo Ramos did.
Yeah. If Dan's in the chat and he's watching, we all know.
My word, we'll have a look. Of course, we'll have a look.
We had far too much of a look, Gonçalo. We had far too much of a look.
Yeah. Wonder if he regrets that now. Who knows? Andy Williams, hear me out. Bruno, Cunha, and Mbeumo rotating front line. Get top midfielder. Have Xerxes back up. I don't know. Bruno is a 9.
Idea of a false 9 just
false
fills
9.
me with dread.
Yeah. He's played there a few times. Remember Ragnick did it with Pogba and Bruno? As a 4-4-2.
That didn't work,
It was just really, really weird. It felt like they were defending more than anything, and no one was in the box. I want someone who's going to be in the box arriving for a goal, like craving that desperately. So
when Dorgu's putting balls in, or where Ahmad's putting a ball into the box, or something, or Mbeumo or Cunha is putting a ball into the box, you need somebody there. Yeah. And if you play him with a false 9, he doesn't have that instinct to know where to be or to get on the end of something and make that run. So I just think, we need an actual number 9.
Well, like a bit of a bully.
Cavani. Oh, imagine Brian Cavani, man. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
It's got that kind of, they can sniff out a chance in the box. That'd be great. But yeah, well, any further updates will be on our Instagram and be on our socials in regards to the striker, whether it's Ekitike or the other million strikers that have been linked with as well. We're going to switch and go back to the other end of the pitch, Sam. So Samuel Luckhurst was reporting today that Andre Onana is expected to stay at Manchester United. Ruben Amorim enjoys a warm working relationship with him, which is worded very, very weirdly. That to me sounds a little bit sus, but speculate what you want. I'm sure Samuel Luckhurst has also come out and said that Amorim wants to get rid of Onana. And I will double check this, but I'm pretty sure I'd done a show, and I remember it was Samuel Luckhurst who was reporting it. So I don't really know what to believe here. What's your gut internal instinct telling you? Do you think he'll still be number 1 for United next season?
He probably will be, but I don't think what Samuel Luckhurst is saying is true either. Alice Talks Football, who is going to be on the show this week. She sort of told us, like, her source, who's got a lot of stuff right, has basically said Amorim told Onana that he's not wanted at the club and he should find another club. Now, whether we're able to do that, because he's got 3 years on his deal, is going to be tricky, and he's not exactly had a great season, has he? So not a lot of people are going to be clamouring to come get him. So I think we're going to struggle to get him out, and he'll probably end up still being here. So maybe this is going out now to sort of try and save a little bit of face, because they know that they're struggling to shift him. But yeah, I think he'll still be here next season, just because I think there's other places that they want to sort of replace first. But if we can get a goalkeeper, I'd love to see him go. Like, just get rid. But who's buying him?
How much would we get for him as well? Do we think?
What are we buying
for?
40?
45. Obviously,
45.
He's got a mistake in him. It's pretty clear to
Yeah.
see. He's still a pretty good shot stopper.
He's made some good saves.
But then he's made as many good saves as he has mistakes almost.
He's lost his ability to play out from the back. Like, that's just disappeared completely. And he can't make a long pass to save his life for some reason either. Like, that's just gone. So, are you looking at 25, 30, maybe?
Yeah. Feels like that, doesn't it? Which I think is probably fair. And I think you could probably use that money and reinvest it in an half-decent keeper. But again, that's another gamble. Because the keepers that you're being linked with at the minute, I'm not really seeing any. I mean, if they go get someone like a Magnan or someone, it might convince me a little bit. But if they go and get a young goalkeeper, like the guy from, is it Nice? The goalkeeper from Nice.
Oh, that one.
Chevalier? I think it is. Something like that.
We've been linked in Chevalier, haven't we? Milinkovic-Savic. I've seen those names dotted about.
But that's like, are they going to come in and be unbelievable goalkeepers? Like, they don't have that reputation. No. They're not got to that level yet. They haven't really been experienced in high-pressure situations.
And Bayinde is not the guy either. Like, we're probably going to look to shift him as well, because he's just not the guy either. So, essentially you want to get rid of 2 goalies, and then your other option is Tom Heaton, who's just signed an extension, but he's probably going to be looking to retire at some point. So, yeah, you're in a tough situation, man. You really are.
Yeah. Well, God, we really are if we end up fucking putting Tom Heaton in there. We've got that contract situation. Hopefully get it nailed down and he become number 1. At this rate, the way Onana's playing, I don't like Onana. I don't like Bayern Day. Tom Heaton's a nice lad, but he's never going to be number 1 choice. So I just feel like we're doomed either way going into this next season. If any of them are in net, I think you fail slightly in the market.
Unless somebody ridiculous becomes available, then yeah, you're sort of stuck, because Mike Maignan looks great, but again, so did Onana at Inter, didn't he? He looked fantastic. So what happens when he comes in and then doesn't make the grade, and you just spent however much to get him, and he doesn't make the grade? So yeah, it's a tricky situation, man.
My Damn United saying we might see a lot of improvement in several players if the summer seasons finally rejuvenate the squad and move forward under Amorim, including Onana. Maltese Devil says, Welbeck back for a season or until someone else is more suited becomes available.
Oh yeah, I'm down with that. Bring back Danny Welbeck.
I would do it if it's a loan, and that would never happen. Brighton would never loan Danny Welbeck to us, and I don't even think he'd come back to United in general. But as that experienced striker, you could do a lot worse than Welbeck. Trust me.
Just for the vibes. Just for the vibes, man. Like Danny Welbeck, bring him back.
Yeah, I'm with that. Right, let's talk about this last story then. Very weird, very bizarre. Again, in same figures as was talking 25, 30 mil for Onana. Man City have just bought Rayan Cherki for 25 million pounds. Now, he's come out with a quote. I don't know how this has kind of been poked out of him from a journalist or whatever. I just saw the pure quote. It says, I didn't like it when United won the game against Lyon because I'm a Lyonnais, whatever the fuck it is. Now I am waiting for the game to kill them. I just wanted to go to Manchester City. Is that a little bit weird to you?
I think it's a badly translated quote, isn't it? I think that's what's happened there. I think they've translated that really badly.
Or what made it look worse than what it is?
Or just they've connected or disconnected. I'd love to see the actual quote in, like, he's French, isn't he, Cherki?
Yeah.
I'd love to see the quote in French and just see like what it actually was, because it seems like it was misquoted or like joined up badly or something's been taken out. I don't know. It seems like what the gist is that he was pissed off because United beat Lyon, and now he's gone to City. He wants to get revenge on us because they beat him when he was at Lyon, and United are rivals of City. That seems to be the gist of it. I just think it's been sort of moved around and misquoted a little bit.
There was quite a bit of it felt like a rivalry, didn't it, the game against Lyon, because of the Onana comments and the Matic, and you got Cherki saying this now. Seems to be a little bit of beef there and still like left over, and I think what you're going to get is in a Manchester derby, those quotes are going to come straight back out, aren't they, from Cherki at the start of the game?
Well, definitely. Yeah, they'll
kind of poke the bear.
If it adds a bit of needle to the game, then I'm all for it. Like that last City game, there was hardly anyone there. It was just a bit meh. Like I miss those days where there's a bit of fight and a bit of people kicking off with each other. Like when Walker and Leacher kicked off in the FA Cup, I fucking love that. That was amazing. It's like more of that, please. Like give me some of that. And it's all sanitized, and then the hugging like before and after the game. Like fuck off. Like
right, I love Roy Keane's face when he sees that. Like when they're hugging on the pitch, and he's like, oh, he says smiling. What are you smiling for?
Yeah,
like,
just
play the
not
game.
him. Like fucking headbutt him, and then afterwards, when you're in the change room, you can have a hug, but just fucking headbutt him. Yeah, it does my head in.
I agree. Fuck Cherki. I think that's the common theme with this. Just before you guys head off, if you can leave a like on the video for us and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely amazing. I'm going to ask one last question just before we finish tonight's show off, Sam. Rank these 5 strikers who Manchester United have been linked to. So who you would go for first, yeah?
Is this money's no object? Or is this
so I'm just going to say 5 names, and you say, in terms of priority, which way you would kind of rank them, right? So Victor Gyökeres, Osman, Sesko, Ekitike, Samu.
Osman, Gyökeres, Samu, Ekitike, Sesko.
Oh,
that's what
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Let us know in the chat live, or if you're watching later on. Mine would be Osman, Gyökeres, Sesko, Samu Ekitike, I think.
Interesting.
I would go for. But specific reasons why I would. I'm not saying Ekitike isn't a talented player, but the reasons why I would lean more towards them other ones. I've liked Sesko for years, but I think Sesko's going to Arsenal, to be fair. So, yeah, I just thought I'd end on that. Something fun, interactive. We've hit the 30-minute mark, so we'll leave it there. Go and watch the Club World Cup if you're going to bother with it, because that's the only football on at the moment. Go on.
You see the picture? It's on Twitter. It's a video, sorry. And it's just inside the stadium, and it's just there's about 30,000 empty seats just in the stadium.
Yeah, I saw that. Saw that in the first game as well, especially. Well, the FIFA was saying he was considering putting TVs in there. You see that? Like on the seat, yeah, because the fans, because they couldn't fill the stadium. They said they were going to do like what WWE did during COVID times.
Oh yeah.
Putting thing there. They said they was going to do that. So.
Fucking travesty, this, isn't it?
It is, honestly. It's just an absolute utter shit show. Hopefully the Prem won't be back for another fucking 2 months as well. So we're stuck with this for a month, and then pre-season, and then the proper football returns. So stick with us, subscribe to the channel, follow us on socials, and me and Sam will